You're most likely going to fall into two categories of people who clicked on this video. Either you want to tell me that I'm a complete idiot for comparing a BMW M3 to a 992 911 or any Porsche 911 for that matter, or you're actually interested in hearing my feedback since I have owned both cars. Big BMW fan. My floor is all BMW, and right here in the background is my new to me, I've had it for 3 months now, but new to me 992 911 Carrera S. Prior to this car, again, if you're new to the channel, I had my G80 M3 for about 3 years. I did a bunch of modifications to it. I can already see some of the comments coming, so I'm going to pre-address them. People are going to say, how could you compare a two-door sports car to a four-door sedan? I mean, clearly they're very different, right? But there's people out there who have an M3 and they're thinking about making the change to a 911, and that would be their only car. They say that the natural progression of a BMW owner is to eventually go to a Porsche, but there also may be people out there who don't have an M3, who don't have a BMW, and want to just save up for the 911 and kind of skip that BMW stepping stone, if you want to call it that. So I'm going to give you guys a breakdown of what it's like living with this car compared to the M3. There might be people out there who have the M3 and want to make the change and don't have a daily. Like, this would be their only car. So I'm going to tell you what it's like living with it on a day-to-day basis. Is it practical? Is it comfortable? So we'll go through all that in this video. I'm going to try my best to not make this video boring. I'm not going to just stand in the garage here and talk to you about the 911 compared to the M3's practicality. I'm also going to go for a drive and give you guys real-time feedback, comparing the two cars, but I want to talk to you about the driving dynamics, the exhaust note, so you guys will be able to hear the car, and I'll try to include some clips from my M3. And I also want to talk to you about the attention this car gets. So there's people out there, you know, who want more attention, who want less attention. I'll talk to you about what kind of attention the 911 garners as compared to the M3. And then I'll also speak about the modding potential. So there's people out there like myself who enjoy modding cars, and there's people out there on YouTube that I've learned that think you should never modify a 911, and that doesn't fall into my categories. People out there who have an M3 who like modifying them. Can you modify this car? I mean, clearly there's modifications done already. So I'll talk to you about what can be done to these cars. Wait, come here. Let's talk about practicality, come on. So, the first thing I mentioned in this video was the practicality. Come out. And you may think that this car isn't very practical. I'll show you why it can be practical. So this being a rear engine car, we have a frunk, and I wanted to show you or demonstrate the size of the frunk and show you how big this thing actually is. So she's about 40 pounds, and she very easily fits in the front of this car. So this frunk is pretty spacious enough. I think you could put 2 carry-on bags in here, and we go to Costco and grocery shopping all the time. We never have issues with like not being able to fit something either in here or in the back of the car, which I'll show you the inside. It's pretty spacious as well. And the second area of space we have is in the back, actually. So those of you who are aware of 911s, unless you have like a GT3 or a GT3 RS, we actually have back seats, although not very usable because of the limited amount of space. When you fold them down, seats folded down, you can see it creates a sort of table, and then if you look over here, you almost have like another shelf, and it goes all the way to the rear of the car. So realistically, you have a ton of room in the back, not including the front that I just showed you. So bulk items like a pack of soda, like a huge pack of soda, or paper towels, toilet paper, whatever, you can just throw it back here and it's not really much of an issue. It might be a little annoying to get all the way to the rear, but there is a ton of room. So comparing this to the M3 in terms of storage space, there is a good amount of room. Obviously, with the M3, you have a regular trunk that you can open, and you can also fold down the seats in that car. So it creates a pathway from the back of the car all the way to the front. So if you have like wood you're buying from Home Depot, if you were to do that, the M3 is a little bit better. But if you have this car as your only car and it's your daily, not really an issue with grocery shopping or just general livability. Hi, I'm Royce, and this is Jackass. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is fold, oh God. Let me put the seat a little down, a little lower. Okay, so what I'm gonna do for you guys, just for the video, is fold the seat forward. I'm actually going to climb into the rear seat of the 911, Keep in mind, I'm not big. I'm like 5'9", 170 pounds or so. And I put the seat pretty far forward. If somebody's in the front at that position, they're probably pretty short. And I'm sitting back here right now in the car, and it's not very spacious. It's doable. Like if you needed to squeeze somebody back here, it can be done. It's probably better if you're a little kid. So if you have kids who don't need a car seat, or if they have a front facing like a booster seat, it could be done. For adults, this is not great, but this car is not meant to have people in the back seat. To sum it up, the back seat is good for storage. For humans, not great unless they can fit very easily. So if you're somebody who doesn't haul people around, this car is fine. And like I promised, we're gonna go for a ride. I'm gonna talk about things other than the practicality of the car. Before I start driving, I want to give you guys a little overview of the interior of the 992 911, and I'll try and compare it to that of the G80 M3. So right off the bat, you could see that the dash is very nicely integrated. You have the analog tachometer in the middle with the digital displays on the side, and then most of your other controls are in this infotainment screen in the middle. Thing in here, such as drive modes, you have the chassis control, exhaust system control, spoiler up and down, as well as all your infotainment stuff like media, phone, navigation, all that. So very similar to the G80 M3. I had the M3 with the iDrive 7, meaning I didn't have the big slapped on display. So comparing the layouts of both cars are very similar. I like both. I like this one a little bit better. I feel like it flows nicer. I like this gauge cluster a lot more, and I'll tell you why. So the middle is analog. So you have an analog tachometer, and then the other two screens on the side are digital, which is very nice. It's a nice mixture of like modern and classic with the middle tachometer there. Very similar to the M3 in terms of information you can gather from the car. I just like this layout a little more. I really enjoy having the sport chrono. The clock looks nice. I don't really use that, but the most important feature with the sport chrono is you get this little drive mode selector, so you can choose your drive modes, and then this little button in the middle here. When you press that, it puts it into sport response. So when you're in automatic mode, it downshifts the lowest gear possible. Going over to the controls here in the middle, the M3 I had was spec'd with ventilated seats, so I could either do the ventilation or heating. This car has the same, but I gotta say that the ventilation, or AC rather, the AC seats in this thing, way stronger. When you press this, you immediately feel the cold air hitting your butt and back. And then if you go into the settings, the air to flow. If you want more on your butt or if you want more on your back, you have control of that. Comfort. How does the 992 911 compare to the G80 M3? So just sitting in here, I gotta say, it doesn't feel any different in terms of like cabin space. I don't feel like I'm sitting in a smaller car at all. I would say they're equal. The seats are just as comfortable. Like I said, they have the ventilation, they have the heating, they have all the adjustability, the lumbar support, the different bolster controls, this and that. I don't even know all the options that it has, but just sitting in these seats, I would say pretty much identical. I don't feel like I'm driving a sports car, and that can be good or bad for some people. It's great if it's your daily. If I'm saying 992 911, but there's other variants out there such as the GT3, GT3 RS. If you spec like carbon bucket seats with those, you might not be as comfortable. But in these seats with all the adjustability, the AC controls in the seats, the heating and everything, I mean, it's not really an issue whatsoever in terms of daily livability and the comfort you get from being inside the car. Hopefully that answers some questions for those of you who are wondering, is this a comfortable daily? Can I drive this and commute to work? Can I, take it on longer trips? My answer to that is yes, you can. It's no issue whatsoever. I've driven this car for multiple hours at a time, and it doesn't feel any different than sitting in my Lexus crossover. So next, driving dynamics. How does the car drive compared to the G80 M3? G80 M3 feels a little numb. I mean, it's a great car. It's just, I'm comparing a sedan to a sports car. Like, they should be different. But G80 M3 is a great car. This is a great car. This is on another level, though. Again, there's people out there who are going to be mad that I'm even comparing the two. So far on the list, practicality, M3 is more practical if you have more people. You're hauling big pieces of wood, I guess. If you're just going to the grocery store, moving regular things around, this car is perfectly fine with the front space, the back seat space, especially if you fold the seats down. The interior comfort, tech, pretty equal. I wouldn't say one is better than the other. The G80 M3, maybe you have more colorful options for the seats. But this is a 2020. This car is 5 years old, and it has everything. It has Bluetooth, it has CarPlay, ventilated seats, heated steering wheel. It looks very modern. It's only 5 years old. I'm saying very modern as if it's like an old car. It's not an old car, but this thing feels like it's brand new still. So if you're considering a 992.1, it's very comparable to the M3, equal in my eyes. Driving dynamics, you just feel so connected to the road in this car. You feel the bumps more than you would in the M3, but not in a bad way where it's shaking you up. You feel it more through the steering wheel. When you're making a turn, you could feel the grip that the car has. You feel more connected. It makes you feel more confident in what the car can do, how fast you could take a corner. I live in Florida, so we don't really have many turns. But when I'm launching the car, for example, this car has fantastic traction with the rear engine, with the weight sitting over the rear axle. Much better traction than the rear wheel drive M3 that I have. So I'm comparing apples to apples in terms of drivetrain with, both being rear wheel drive cars. You can get this car in the 4 variant, which is the all-wheel drive variant, or you can get the M3 in the X-Drive variant. So I'm comparing rear wheel drive. This is far superior than a rear wheel drive M3. I'm gonna pull over here and show you guys some of the exterior of the car, talk about some other topics that I mentioned that I would talk about, and then I'll switch the camera angle and give you guys another angle of me driving, and then I'll try and get some exhaust note. I'll probably stick the mic on the back of the car so you guys can get the turbo spool, so that should be pretty cool. I just stepped out of the car. Another topic that I said I wanted to touch on was the attention that this car garners. How does it compare to that of the M3? So if you guys know my M3, or the M3 I used to have, it was very heavily modified. So it was wrapped in this green color, it had gold wheels, this and that. So I got a lot of attention with that car just because of how different it looked compared to the other cars on the road. Comparing both these cars, stock versus stock, neither of them really get too much attention, especially living in South Florida, where there's a lot of nice cars. It's not like I live in the middle of nowhere and you don't see BMWs or Porsches. You see these cars everywhere. And I just got these wheels a couple of days ago. I posted the video last week, so I guess I've had them for a week now. The car really stands out now, so I haven't really had enough time with it to see how much attention it gets with the new wheels. But so far, I gotta say the M3 did get more attention. There's a lot more BMW fanboys out there compared to like a regular 911 Carrera. If it was like a GT3 RS, I'm sure the people would be going crazy on the road, just driving it around with like that huge wing. But again, so far, only having the wheels on this car for a week, not a huge amount of attention. M3 definitely gathered more.
Hey.
You like it?
Yeah, I love it.
Filming a YouTube video.
Oh shit, how you doing?
What's up, guys? So what do you guys think like stands out more, this car or an M3?
Probably this one.
This?
Yeah.
You think?
It looks more sporty.
More sporty?
The M3 looks more casual. For me, it's the headlights.
On this compared to the M3?
Yeah.
Okay, so these guys are saying that they think this car stands out more than the M3. So, but I try to do some mods to make it stand out.
It already stands out. That's the first thing I saw when I was coming around that corner was the wheels.
Okay, so yeah, I guess the wheels, category of looks is so subjective. It's all personal opinion, so it's kind of hard to compare, again, a 2-door sports car to a 4-door sedan. But in terms of attention, I would say pretty equal. All right, let's see if I can get this to work right. So I'm gonna put this mic over here on the license plate so you guys can get some exhaust notes, and I'm gonna keep the other mic attached to my shirt. Hopefully I can get the sounds to mix nicely and not have like the exhaust too loud and all. I've been getting so much shit about the sound quality in my videos, so hopefully I can get this. I'm gonna turn the mic that's on the back of the car down to like -8 decibels, I think it is, I don't know. I'll leave my mic at the regular setting, and hopefully we don't get like too much clipping sound from the exhaust as I see. So I think I got the perfect setup now with the sound settings and the placement of the mic on the back of the car as well as here on my shirt. which allows you guys to have the ability to hear me speak as well as hear the exhaust note, which is the next thing I want to talk about. Having owned both cars, how does the exhaust note of the G80 M3 compared to that of the 911 Carrera? Again, it's another subjective thing, but in my opinion, the 992 exhaust sounds way better than the G80 M3. The M3 exhaust is extremely raspy. So exhaust note is a subjective thing. One person can hate one exhaust and another person can love the same one. So this is my opinion, having owned both cars. The exhaust setup I had on my G80 M3 was a single mid-pipe with catless downpipes, and in my opinion, that's pretty much the best exhaust note you can get out of that car, apart from going like single turbo, which completely changes how that car sounds, but it's a big investment just to change the sound and get more power as well. But staying on the topic of sound, in my opinion, this car sounds way better. It's not raspy. The turbo spool sounds ridiculous. It sounds like I'm running aftermarket turbos, but all I have is catless downpipes. The piping from the engine to where the exhaust exits is so short. Obviously, the engine is in the back, so you have your engine, turbos, and where now I have catless downpipes, connects to my Porsche Sport exhaust with my valves open, gives you the sound you're hearing right now. So basically, what you guys are hearing is a straight pipe, essentially, and the car sounds refined even with how open and free-flowing this exhaust is. You don't have rasp, you have that nice low-down turbo spool, and then as you get higher into the RPMs, it doesn't compromise the sound at all. So I love just cruising with the windows down, just normal driving. You don't have to rev this car out to get nice sound. It sounds like some people say it sounds like a diesel truck, but I like that. Like, it sounds, there's so much turbo spool, and I don't know if you can have too much. Some people out there might say it sounds like a diesel truck. To me, it just sounds like a really fast car with big turbos, and I'm running stock turbos. All I have is basically, I think they call them catless bypass pipes. With this car, you don't need to go fast to enjoy it. You can cruise around, just feel the car, listen to how it sounds. Just taking off from a stoplight, which I'm about to do here, the exhaust sounds incredible. The turbo spool you get, paired with the PDK in this, is just so much better than the M3. The M3 has the ZF automatic transmission. So with this, you get faster upshift, faster downshift, and with that, paired with the exhaust, just sounds good. Here, I'll let you guys listen. So good. And again, I might get comments out there saying, the price is very different. But honestly, if you spec a new G80 X drive and you do all the carbon bucket seats, this and that option, it really adds up and it becomes comparable to the price of a low mileage pre-owned 992.1 Carrera S, such as this one. The 992.2s aren't really in the same price range anymore. I believe if you spec them out, they're close to like 200 grand with tax factored in. So not really, you can't really compare those two, but this video isn't to tell you what to do. The M3 is a great car. If you need it for the practicality, like I said, get it, but in every other aspect, this car wins. I didn't really speak about performance too much, but these cars are pretty comparable. There's a lot more people modifying the G80 M3, so there's more development and more people modifying them, tuning them, making them faster. But just with the tune and downpipes in this car, I'm running a 10.7 second quarter mile. BMW or Porsche?
Porsche.
Okay.
Love it.
That's my neighbor Michael. If you've seen him in my other videos, he says he likes this car better than my M3. In terms of modding the car to be faster, like I said, I ran a 10.7 second quarter mile. So there's a lot of tuning support out there. There's a lot of upgrade the turbos. You could do an intake plenum, intercoolers, this and that. So compared to the M3, in terms of performance modifications, there's plenty of things you could do to this car to make it faster. In terms of different appearance stuff, there's companies out there like Moshhammer, Dissident, I don't know if I'm saying these companies right, that do like lips and different types of ducktails and wings and this and that. So there's stuff out there. It's just a little more expensive because I think it's like the Porsche tax. But there's ways to get around certain things. So like the downpipes on my car, I went straight to Alibaba and got them for like 450 bucks. Same ones they sell in the US, they're just rebranded. So you can modify these cars to make them quick without, spending a ton of money. And the benefit with these is you don't have to send out your ECU. So if you have a G80 M3 and you want to do an ECU tune, you have to ship the thing to Europe, to Finland to unlock it. With these, they could do it through the OBD. So it's much easier. You don't have downtime with your car if you're into doing that kind of modification. So comparing modifications on both pretty similar. This is fun to modify, and you don't have to. You can leave it stock. It's also a great car in its stock form. So I want to wrap up the video, kind of summarize everything that I talked about very quickly. This video isn't to tell you what to do. It's more to help those out there who, like I said, if you're shopping a 911, if you have an M3 and you want to go to the next step, is it the car for you? Is it livable on a daily basis? If you don't have either and you want to skip to the 911 or go for a M3, maybe this video will help you out there as well. So in summary, this car you can live with on a, sorry with the wings up, don't give me shit. I had it up because I had the mic in this little crevice and I didn't press the button to go back down. So don't get on me too much for the wing being up. I normally don't leave it up. Anyway, this car you can live with daily. You can go to the grocery store, you can go shopping. There's plenty of space. If you have more than yourself and one other person to haul around, maybe not the best. If you have a kid, they can fit in the back seat. So if you have one kid, front-facing seat, or small enough to fit in the back, the car is fine. Not sure if you'd want to do that, but you can. Yes, the car you can live with on a daily basis. Very comfortable, very fun. Practical for the most part, yes. If you guys have any comments about something I mentioned, maybe something I missed, let me know in the comments below. Like the video if you haven't already done so. If you enjoyed the video, like it. If you want to have a little discussion, drop me a comment, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.